man, I got a lot of questions for you, man.
Okay,
I
hopefully I got some answers for you, cuz.
no, I see you doing your thing on Facebook and the other platforms, right?
Yes,
And I want to commend you for giving that information to the people out there, bro. That
yes,
that
yes, man.
that
Well, most people wasn't doing it. When I first came out, I gave out a lot of intel, and a lot of people wasn't giving out the real things that people needed. So I thought that was important, especially for us to really be able to, compete with others. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
So my first question for you is: so I've been doing all this research on the internet and also
Okay.
following you.
Right.
So how important, like to become wealthy, how important is budgeting to become wealthy?
Oh,
Does
well,
that play a
budgeting.
factor in it, or
Yeah, well, budgeting is, I mean, it's the number one factor, right? Because, I put a post up a few weeks ago about, getting money is one thing, right? Accessing money is easy. But being able to hold on to it is what's the hard part. And so in that's budgeting, right? Because if you don't budget properly, then you won't be able to hold on to it. So budgeting is very important in it all, especially when it comes to even building out your personal credit and building a business and building business credit. A lot of people, they forget the fact that you need to have a budget there to make sure you make it to the goal. So I think that's a very important aspect. It's mandatory. My clients that's in the coach's circle, the first thing I ask them is, what is their monthly budget? Because I want to make sure that the things that I'm asking them to do, that they're able to handle it. And if not, based on their budget, I
uh-huh.
give them certain steps on what to do because they don't have, X amount of dollars.
Okay, so I want to get to that coaching circle you offer individuals.
Okay.
But so the savings,
Mm-hmm.
how important is savings to building wealth?
Well, that's a great question, man. I'm a little bit different about savings because I like to leverage, right? So one of my taglines is leverage to legacy, and so um, if somebody got $20,000 and they just saving, and let's say they saving, 20, 30, not 20, 30, but two or $300 a month, I would rather take that 20K that they have and leverage it. Like, for instance, I would rather put it in a savings account and then borrow against it, right?
Uh-huh.
So that they can have relationships with a bank, so that they can have more money later. Because let's say, for instance, somebody's saving 20,000, and let's just say 500 a month that they saving. So yearly, that'll be about 6 more K. So 1 year, 26K. The following year to be 32,000 they got. But in my scenario, I would take that 20K and I would put it in a bank account and borrow against it, and then take that same 20K that they gave me the
Mm-hmm.
first week and put it in another bank and move it around. So now, of course, you're gonna pay some slight interest on borrowing your own money, but what happens is now you have multiple relationships with different banks. So now in 2 years, instead of just having access to 32K, you can have access to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because the more money you have, the more money you could potentially make. And so that's my philosophy with that.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing I have is managing debt.
Okay.
How important is that?
Hey man, listen, man, debt, you gotta. Well, see, when it comes to the debt, you got to make sure that you always getting the best interest rate. So when you're looking at, like, when I look at a person's profile, if they paying interest on credit cards, then I tell them they don't know how credit works, right? Because you always supposed to be finding products that are 0% interest. If you don't have them now, then that's your next step. You got to find those so that you can move that money over, because that's the difference between making money and not making money, is interest rates, which is debt,
Uh
right?
huh. Uh
So
huh.
so we have to look at, like I said, the 0% on credit cards, and then we also have to look at, they have this concept called velocity banking, right? And so I think that that's a great thing that everybody should take a look at, where you take money from a line of credit, or even a credit card product, and you use that to start paying your debts down faster. Like even with your homes, like with this same concept, you can pay your home down in 5 or 6 years instead of the 30 years. So managing debt, man, is number one. Yeah, we have to look at managing that debt. What I realize is that because of life and work, and we don't have a lot of time to focus on ourselves,
Right.
and not understanding that that's the most important thing to do. Manage that debt, right? Figure out how to have more banking relationships, so in the future we have that access. Because it's not really necessarily about now. You know what I mean? It's about the future. It's about an opportunity that may be coming soon, and we just want to make sure we prepared for it. That's how I see it.
So you just talked about credit. You just said the word credit. So how important is um, managing that credit to get wealthy?
Hey, well, I think it's one of the most important concepts, especially with our community, but really all communities. Most of the millionaires I know, they use credit as a launching pad to get to where they are. And even a lot of the people that's in high spaces, they go out and get venture capitalist money. They go out and borrow money from other people, whether it's credit or not, whether they got good credit or not. They put a business plan together and they borrowing money from somebody. So how important is it? It's the most important. Look at Shark Tank. I think Shark Tank is a prime example. And I think the name is beautiful because those people are getting sharked, right? Because if they had credit and they built their own portfolio the right way, they wouldn't need to give up half of their company for some sharks.
Right.
So it's the most important.
Right.
There.
So learning. It's a post you put up a few weeks ago about read this book right here, Rich Dad Poor
Right.
Dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I purchased that book on your advice, and man, the book just like opened my mind up to a whole different concept. So how important is learning financial literacy, or how important is to learn about financials?
Yeah, I think, like I say, it's the most important. I think that I even put a post up and said that financial education should come before driver's education, right? So it should come real early in life because, this helps us shape our world, right? Everything is based pretty much on finances. Our cars, our house, the clothes we buy, the jewelry, everything is based on that. So how do we see that? So it's the most important. And I love Rich Dad Poor Dad because he's looking at both sides of life.
Right.
He's looking at both mindsets and how they think and how they operate. And so I think, to compare and contrast is very important for us. And, a lot of times for us, we need role models. Like we need somebody that we can see doing something and it helps us know that, hey, that can be done. Right. So one of my taglines is, it's okay to copycat as long as you copy the right cat. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So learning. So for example, me learning about money from my mom, right, is work, go to school, and save. But I find myself, the more I work and the pay raises that I get, still stuck in the same position. I'm like, what the hell's going on? It shouldn't be like that. So I think the book also talks about you have to unlearn what your parents taught you, so you can relearn some things. So next question is, how important is having a money team behind you, like financial advisors, or what you just said, having a role model? How important is that?
Well, I think really, and that's a great question. I think that's actually one of the most important elements for us, for anybody in business and not in business, or just if you're thinking about business or just thinking about elevating your life. You need a mentor. You need the people that already have done it
Right.
because it's going to help you pass and skip a lot of grades. The Coach's Circle product that I had was built on that accountability, right? So it's an accountability program because a lot of times we want to do some things and we motivated, but life beat us down after a few weeks, a month or so. So now we're in this amp to get it done. But if you have, you're a mentor, you have your coach, you have your accountability partner, that person's obligation with you is to make sure that they see that through with you. And so I think that all of us should be looking at that, and especially in business, we should start looking at hiring the right person for the job,
right.
And paying them, what they're worth. But a lot of times we figure we can't pay them what they're worth because we don't have the money, and that's because we haven't sat back and put the business plan together properly and those kind of things. So the mentorship is important. Having an accountability partner is important. Having a team, a money team, like you call it, man, that's super important.
Right. So if somebody wanted to join the Coach's Circle, what would they have to do, and how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, that's a great question. So to join the Coach's Circle, they can reach out to me on any one of my social media platforms, and my team will get right at them to let them know what needs to be done. They also could call us at 888-588-2341 to get set up. Did you ask me about the Coach's Circle? What does it all entail?
Yeah. What does it entail?
So it's a yearly membership. And so with the Coach's Circle, first off, they get me as their accountability partner. So me and them will be on a call every month for 15 to 20 minutes. Our first call will be a strategy call where we'll figure out what their goals are, and then we'll reverse engineer that for 12 months. And so everybody in the circle, of course, we want to get them access to capital because that's what everybody wants is capital. So one of our goals is get between 50 and 150 access to unsecured capital. Also, inside the circle, we build out their personal profile. So their personal credit scores, if it's not 700 or better, we give them the tools to make sure that it gets there. If they need positives added to the credit report, we talk about what positives they need and why. Also, on the business credit side, we look at their business credit reports and scores to build that out. If they don't have a business established, we help them establish the business. We give them the foundational steps needed to establish that business, because the most important thing is for them to have both. The personal and business credit together make a perfect relationship. So we make sure that they have a perfect business credit score. But I think one of the biggest things within the Coach's Circle is the information and the learning aspect of it. So it's not us doing it. I don't do anything. I talk to the individual and the client and make sure they understand all of these steps, and I tell them how to get those steps done. So now if the coach ain't around, they can do it again and again, and that's the most important. If they want to do it for a family member, they can do this for a family member, or they can just bring me in because, of course, they love the motivation. They love to talk to me. They love to ask additional questions while they're on the phone with me. So another thing about the Coach's Circle is banking relationships. So what we do is we make sure that each individual have a minimum of 5 to 10 new banking relationships in that 12-month time frame, because I'm a firm believer of what one bank won't do, the next one will. Mm-hmm. So make sure we build those relationships, and we strategically, we may put money into certain accounts so that the banks, give us credit later. And like I said, we also build out the business credit profile to make sure you have at least 10 vendor relationships that's reporting to this file, so that now when you get ready to go get a vehicle in the business name, when you are ready to really start your real estate empire, you can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, and get 20, 30, 40K in just business credit. So we build all of that out to make sure that we have that access.
Oh wow!
So it's prices. So the price is $3,200 a year. Okay, and it's paid a couple ways. It could be paid $1,000 down and $200 a month, or $2,000 down and $100 a month.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so like I said, I think it's a priceless thing. Everybody, we have about 125 people inside the coaches circle right now, and everybody love it. It's unbelievable to them, and they've been getting to their goals pretty fast. Some people have been getting funded, access to money. You know, some people been getting access to money their very first month.
So, is how do individuals get over the fear of pursuing their goals in their dreams? Because reading the reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talked about people are scared to pursue their dreams. So how do
Yeah.
individuals get over that fear to
Well,
actually go
that's
out
a
there?
good one, man. Like I say, a lot of times it is the accountability. You need somebody with you, man. This world has this unique way, uh, of making us feel like we can't make it,
Right.
right? Making us feel like we gotta have the 9 to 5. This is our only option, and not only that, working 8 hours a day, then it take an hour to get prepared for work, an hour to come from work and settle down and settle in. We really don't have time for ourselves.
Right.
I'm quite sure that the first 5 years I taught for free. I did seminars and lectures, all over. And what I realized, man, is that even though I inspired a lot of people, I had one individual that came to 30 of my workshops. And this dude, excuse me, he never even started working on his profile, right? Never started working on his personal business credit. He just liked coming to the seminars. He brought his whole family. And he just liked coming. He liked what I was saying, but he never even made the steps. And so what that showed me was, yeah, I was very inspirational. And, he may have liked what I said, and he may have wanted to move forward, but he didn't. And so, man, sometimes, man, we need a push, right? We need somebody that understands us and understands that element of fear, and we move and shake right through it.
Right. Man, so I guess my last question: what piece of advice would you give to the people that's gonna watch this video right here?
Man, my best advice for the people is to I got a few advices for them is to just etch out 20 or 30 minutes a week for you to start learning more about financial literacy. That's going to be key. And like I said, also one of the goals when it comes to personal credit should be to have a 700 plus credit score,
right,
and have access to between $100,000 and $150,000 in unsecured credit, right? Revolving credit. Because a lot of people say, well, I'm good on my credit already. I got access, I don't need any more. And then when I look at their profile, they only got access to $5,000 or $10,000. And that's not acceptable, because as soon as you use 1,000 or 2,000, that your score is going to drop, for one. And in the future, you're going to need some access. Your neighbor might be selling his house for pennies on the dollar. It might be a business opportunity coming up. You might even lose your job. And the thing is this: we want to have reserves. We want to have a cushion so that we can breathe and so that we can eat. And mental security is very important. If we don't have the proper mental security, we're gonna lose some of our lifeline, our life cycle. This is where a lot of ailments and diseases can come from, by not having this mental security. And so, if we start working on that, if your audience, if all of them had access to $150,000, $200,000, if they boss, if they job was being jeopardized, they wouldn't feel so bad, right? Because they have opportunities.
Right.
So we must make sure that we put ourselves in position to have opportunities. We don't have to know what we're gonna do with the money. If you get unsecured capital, lines of credit, credit card products, you only have to pay on that when you use it. So at least have access to it.
Okay, that's smart, man. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all the questions I have, but I'm gonna hit you
Okay.
back. I'm gonna hit you back up because I want to join that Culture circle.
You know, and that's the thing, man. With us on the job, you know, it normally takes about a lifetime to make $1 million. But when we understand financial literacy, understand really how credit works and operate, we could get millions of dollars over and over and over again. So we got more opportunities to make our life work for us.
Right. So you was just recently in South America doing
Yeah, I was in
something?
Colombia, so I was over there looking at some real estate, looking at the culture, you know, because some of my clients, they want to, you know, a lot of them don't know what to do with the money, and they want to do some things. They want to do some investing. So what I was thinking on was bringing it all together as one. Let's do some investing in a place. Let's get you some in a place that's paradise. And if you can invest there and make money, now you can skip some grades. You don't have to wait till you retire to actually live in paradise. You can live there now and still make money. So that was my thought.
All right. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hit you up next week for real though. And
okay.
So, cause you talked about, so I came into some money, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm holding on to this money and it's in the bank, but I'm like, this money ain't doing shit.
Right. You gotta leverage it.
I'm thinking
like what I just told you about putting it in the bank and borrowing against it.
Yeah.
Listen, that's the most profound thing, a piece of information I ever came across, because like I said, in the future, something gonna come up, man. Like it might be only 1 or 2 times in a lifetime where this big opportunity come up that makes sense for you, and we wanted to be ready and prepared for it.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't want to use our own money. So right now, that money in the bank is yours. But if you leverage it the right way, you can still keep yours and use theirs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the plan. So I'll call you next week. So we can get the ball rolling. Appreciate you, man. Love.
All right. Much love. Appreciate it, man. Talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you.